Right now at 6, a motorcycle crash is under investigation in Joplin.
We've got excessive heat warnings again for most of the area, with dangerous heat continuing through this week. Take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, brutal storms blew through southwest Missouri Sunday night. We take a look at the damage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So just after 6 a.m. now on this Tuesday morning across the area, we already have hot conditions out there. We've already got a heat index. And it is only going to get worse as the afternoon progresses. And there you can see our excessive heat warnings across the area for the counties in magenta, basically the same areas that we've seen in the last couple of days. And these will continue now into Wednesday. And we've got heat index values now anywhere from 108 to 115 degrees possible as we head into the afternoon today. So that's what we want to talk about, is in terms of this heat. Give you a few safety tips here. First, with the heat index values that we're seeing, heat exhaustion is likely and heat stroke becomes possible out there. And then there's something called the wet bulb globe temperature, and that is also relatively high, which does increase the risk for heat stroke in this heat today. So if you are outside, I know a lot of folks still kind of cleaning up after Sunday night storms. You need to make sure you are staying hydrated and taking frequent breaks. Limit strenuous outdoor activities. I know it's difficult with trying to clean up debris, but do your best. Wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, and make sure you're checking on elderly and the pets out there as well with this dangerous heat across the 4 states. So you can't emphasize this enough. And of course, if you don't have to be outside during the heat this week, do your best not to be outside. So we've been talking about this, and just a quick reminder on heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. There are some differences, and of course heat stroke is more severe. You need to call 911 if anyone's experiencing those symptoms. And of course with heat exhaustion, if they're experiencing those symptoms, make sure you get them to a cool air-conditioned place, get them to drink water if you can, and take a cool shower, use a cold compress. And of course we've got this graphic on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just click on the forecast. We're going to have more on that forecast as we soar into the triple digits again today, but there is relief on the way. We'll talk about that as well here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A Joplin crash is currently still under investigation. At about 4:30 p.m., a motorcycle crashed into a pickup truck at East Plaza Drive and South Range Line. Witnesses say that the motorcycle was traveling at high speeds. The motorcycle was unresponsive and transported to a nearby hospital. The pickup driver was also transported to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Lamar, Missouri is also cleaning up from Sunday's storms. City officials are working to get debris and damage cleared, as well as restore power to residents. One resident who had a tree fall on her house says she's thankful for the hard work by officials to help her.
I called 911. They were so good to come out and check. A deputy came out, and then the city came out to check it and see if I was okay. Great job for both of them. Yes.
Lamar City officials say they'll continue to clear out all damage and debris throughout the week. The historic Barco Theater in Lamar was also damaged in the storm. The storm moved part of the bracing and structure of the viewing screen. Theater manager Scott Kelly says the theater will have to get a new screen. He hopes to start raising funds as soon as possible. The Joplin Public Works Department opened its free tree limb drop-off site yesterday. It's at 1702 North Schiffer-Decker Avenue. It'll be open through Friday from 8:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Another option for Joplin residents is to bundle limbs and branches cut to 4 feet maximum length and place them curbside for pickup on the regularly scheduled trash service day. The 4 states has dealt with triple-digit temperatures for a stretch of days now, but the city of Joplin has relief to offer. Cooling centers have popped up around the city in preparation for another week of extreme heat. These include Joplin City Hall, Joplin Health Department, the Donald Clark Public Safety Center, and the Joplin Athletic Center. These cooling centers are open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. And portions of an Arkansas law that would make it a crime for bookstores and librarians to provide materials deemed harmful to young readers is temporarily blocked. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed the law earlier this year. The law was scheduled to go into effect today. It calls for librarians and booksellers to be held criminally liable if they knowingly give minors books that appeal to, quote, a prurient interest in sex. The lawsuit was filed by numerous publishing groups, including the Arkansas Library Association. Oklahoma gets low marks for healthcare quality. That's according to a new Wallet Hub analysis. We take a look at how the rest of the 4 states ranked among the country. In a ranking of all 50 states and the District of Columbia, Oklahoma ranked 46th for healthcare quality. Arkansas was 37th, Missouri was in the middle range at 26th, and Kansas was the best in our area, ranked 16th. The study from the personal finance website Wallet Hub considered such factors as infant mortality, availability of physicians, and percentage of residents with health insurance. Parsons, Kansas residents today will vote on whether to renew a public safety sales tax. Parsons, Kansas residents today will vote on whether to renew a public safety sales tax. The tax supporters funds competitive pay to retain experienced police officers and firefighters and to pay for training. It also helps buy vehicles and other critical equipment. The tax has been in place for more than a decade. If approved, the tax would continue for another 10 years. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society joins us in studio to talk about the NBC Clear the Shelters event. Plus, how efforts to stop tobacco use still has a long way to go. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. But first, here's a live look from Riverton, Kansas in honor of National Night Out happening tonight.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:09 now on this Tuesday morning across the area. Taking a live look at the MoDOT camera 20th and range line. We are looking good so far, already hot. I want to remind you we have those excessive heat warnings for the majority of the area. And we're looking at heat index values anywhere from 108, possibly up as high as 115 degrees across the area. So if you're outdoors, make sure that you are taking appropriate precautions to stay safe. US 69 and East 520th Avenue, the KDOT camera there. It is looking good as well. Of course, that's just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera at 7th and range line, we're seeing partly to mostly cloudy skies so far. Temperatures coming down a little bit, and it'll drop just a pinch more to get to our official low, and then it's going to turn around, warm back up. 79, still have a heat index though of 82, dew point 69. Humidity's come up a bit to 72%. Taking a look at temperatures around the area, boy, it is a warm one out there. We've got 76 in Fort Scott is one of the cooler places out there, and 75 in Monette, Cassville. So some of us not too bad, but look at Chanute, 81 degrees, 79 in Yates Center, 78 in Pittsburgh, Chetopa, 79 in Miami, Carthage, and 78 in Neosho. As we go through the morning, all of us warming back up, partly cloudy skies going into the upper 80s, near 90 degrees as we head into the late morning hours. And then as we head into this afternoon, we are looking at this. Temperatures into the lower 100s, some of us still into the upper 90s, but the majority of us now getting into that lower 100 degree range. Will be partly cloudy as we head into the afternoon. A stray pop-up storm or two will be possible between this afternoon and this evening, but they're going to be very isolated if they happen at all at this point. And as we head into the evening, again, still hot, 101 at 6, 95 by 8, down to 89 by 10. Partly cloudy skies continue. It will be partly cloudy and mild as we go into the overnight, back once again into the upper 70s for our overnight lows. And as we look down the road, this is going to be the longest week, I think, of the summer so far, because we've had triple digits, but we haven't had them last so long. We're looking at 100-degree readings all the way through Friday. Partly cloudy skies, some pop-up storm chances again for us Wednesday and Thursday, but these again are going to be very isolated if they happen at all. And look at these temperatures, maybe even up to 105 by Thursday. And of course, that means our overnight lows don't look much better either. Lower 80s, upper 70s. Then we start to see some changes once we start heading into the weekend. Now, Saturday still looking pretty hot, upper 90s, near 100. we start to see thunderstorm chances move into the area. These will increase at least a little bit into Sunday and Monday, and as our thunderstorm chances increase and that opportunity for some more much-needed rainfall increases, our temperatures begin to decrease. It's going to feel like springtime out there compared to this week. And they're expected to hold as we head into the next work week. We dry out, we go partly cloudy as we head into the second half of the next work week, but our temperatures remain back into the upper 80s and lower 90s. And of course, that also means that our overnight lows start to look a little bit better as well out there. So we'll start to get a little relief from the heat as we head into the weekend and next week. But boy, I'm telling you, it's going to be the longest week though to get from here to there. So again, if you're outside doing any debris cleanup, any activity outdoors, make sure that you're taking precautions. Check on the pets, check on the elderly. Just make sure you're staying safe, make sure they're staying safe. And again, if you don't have to be outside for an extended period, simply don't. Just stay inside if you can. It's almost as if we had a blizzard and the roads were dangerous. You want to just stay indoors for right now. And of course, we've got safety tips on how to tell the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke, the symptoms, warning signs, and what you need to do if somebody's experiencing either of those on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. You can just click on the forecast page. That is a check of your forecast. We will be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Joining us today in studio is Jasmine Kyle, the director of the SEK Humane Society. She's here to tell us all about the NBC's Clear the Shelter event happening this month. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. All right, so tell us all about the SEK Humane Society here.
Yeah, so we are located in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and we are their local no-kill humane society. No-kill meaning that we do not euthanize for breed, we do not euthanize for sickness, we do not euthanize for time. So we do have long-term residents. It's not something where if they've been there for a month, a year, that they're gone. We will forever take care of those fur babies to find them their perfect homes. But we're super jazzed because we are partnering up with NBC for their 9th consecutive year for Clear the Shelter, which is huge right now because in the animal world there's a dire emergency of high intakes. Adoptions for private smaller shelters like us, they're down by 7% right now. So that's throughout the United States. Intakes are up by over 70%. So it's something that we have stray intake up by 87%. When you have that demand of need for intake, adoptions are a huge critical role in being able to relieve that pressure for the community. So for the entire month of August, we will be reducing our adoption fees to $20, and that is for dogs and cats. So some of the dogs that we have available, that is Augie. He is a 6-month-old German Shepherd mix. He is beautiful. He's great with other dogs too. Of course, we will also have cats up for adoption, and they'll be included for that 20. Betty. She is our shelter highlight. She is our longest term resident. She has been with us for 3 years. She just recently did a surgery for a benign tumor on her. The community fundraised that, and she just got out a few days ago, and she's doing great. Clifford, with so many spots after that big old red dog, 4 years old, great with kids and adults looking for a home though, with no other animals. He is a hound mix, so he's gonna go after that small prey, so no kitty cats for him. Everest. We have had Everest since she was a baby. She was abandoned at the gate in the snow. We barely saw her moving, and thankfully one of our staff did. And she is now the 6-month-old beautiful girl. Gertie with her little spot on her eye. She is the sweetest demeanored dog. She is great with other dogs, great with kids, will be up in your lap, the sweetest soul. And then Montana, we don't have favorites at the shelter, but he is one that tags my heart in ways. I personally fostered this sweet boy. He's 8.5 old. He is the 2nd long-term resident. Wow. So he is a cattle dog
and then
mix.
We have Hawk too.
Yep, he's 2 years old. He's a husky mix.
So where can people go to participate in this?
Yeah, so our shelter's open now 7 days. So we're technically open 5 days out of the 7. We used to be only open on weekends during the pandemic, but we are back open in full swing. You can catch us noon to 4 most days, but we're closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Sunday from 1 to 4 will be open. And then all of our animals are spayed and neutered, microchipped, up to date on vaccinations.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Be sure to check out the SEK Humane Society happening all month long. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. We'll be right back. Topping Health Watch this morning, smoking is one of the leading causes of preventable deaths, according to the World Health officials. Efforts to stop tobacco use have seen some success, but as the United Nations is pointing out, there's still a long way to go. Ian Lee has the details.
It's known smoking can kill. Now a new report from the World Health Organization is highlighting tobacco's deadly impact.
Tobacco use continues to be one of the biggest public health threats, with 8.7 million people dying from tobacco-related diseases every year.
While roughly 1.3 million non-smokers die every year from secondhand smoke. The UN report also finds there are 1.3 billion tobacco users around the world. Around 80% of them live in low and middle income countries, and tobacco kills up to half of its users. The WHO says the fight to end tobacco use hasn't been easy.
The tobacco industry is a powerful and resourceful industry, which even today continues to grow in terms of profit and influence.
But the WHO pointed to progress, a 5% drop in the number of smokers over the last 2 decades. It credited its Empower program, a series of anti-tobacco efforts countries can use, like highlighting the risks of smoking, helping people quit, and raising taxes on tobacco. The WHO says roughly 70% of the world's population is now protected by at least one of these measures, and adds they not only help nations reduce healthcare costs, having them in place can save lives. Ian Lee, CBS News.
The CDC reports that in 2021, around 28 million American adults smoked, while more than 16 million Americans live with a smoking-related disease. And the American College of Physicians now suggests that doctors should begin colorectal screening at age 50 for average-risk adults with no symptoms. Consider not screening asymptomatic adults between the ages of 45 to 49, and stop screening for colorectal cancer for adults over 75. The American Cancer Society still recommends colorectal screening for average risk patients at age 45. Fresh air and the right medication might be the best way to battle croup. A study conducted in Switzerland found outdoor cold air combined with a steroid showed the best results when treating children with the condition. Croup is the most common cause of acute upper airway obstruction in children and is characterized by a distinctive barking cough. And drinking kombucha may reduce blood sugar levels in people with type 2 diabetes. A study at Georgetown University found people who drank the fermented tea for 4 weeks had lower fasting glucose levels compared to patients who drank a similar tasting placebo beverage. Researchers say more work needs to be done, but are excited by preliminary findings that indicate a common drink could help treat diabetes. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got some good news to share, at least with some of us out there. We are actually starting to see a few rain showers across the area. So from here to the east, these are actually happening, and they're coming off of this batch of strong thunderstorms that's well to our east. But we're getting a little tail on this, and we're starting to see at least a few rain showers across the area. They're not going to amount to much, and they won't last too terribly long as that batch moves on out of here. But at least we are getting some rain across the area, and again, a few of us at least seeing some sprinkles on a day where we've got some dangerous heat to talk about. We've got excessive heat warnings for all the counties in magenta here, and this is for heat index values anywhere from 108 possibly up to 115 degrees out there. So make sure you are taking the appropriate precautions. Well, more on the safety tips that you need to know in this dangerous heat. Take another look at your forecast and have another half hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, some dental students in Joplin begin an education they can sink their teeth into.
And we've got excessive heat warnings across the area once again today. We'll talk about that dangerous heat and some rain showers we're seeing coming up.
Plus, the Pittsburgh Junior Dragons Youth League hosts a camp for younger kids to get into the sport.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is already warm and muggy out
Yes,
there,
it is.
but we are starting to see at least a few rain showers thanks to a batch of thunderstorms well off to our east. Those strong and even severe thunderstorms are delivering some much needed rainfall to parts of central Missouri. We really need some of those thunderstorms to back up to the west a little bit. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen, but thanks to those storms, we had a little outflow, and we're seeing a few scattered showers starting to pop up across the area, maybe as far west as extreme southeast Kansas. And you see they're very spotty. They're not very big. We're not talking a lot of rain associated with this, but we are seeing a few showers that are developing thanks to that batch of storms. Now, as it moves out, unfortunately, it will take the rain with it and leave us with this excessive heat warnings once again across the area. And we're talking again, heat index values 108 to 115 degrees outside. That makes it extremely dangerous. It puts us where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. It is dangerous to be outside. And these are some tips that you need to know. If you are outdoors, especially if you're doing any kind of cleanup following the storm Sunday night, you got to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit strenuous outdoor activities. I know that's tough cleaning up debris, but just take those frequent breaks as you can. Wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, and make sure you're checking on elderly and the pets. And of course, we've been showing you the differences between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat stroke, of course, is considerably more severe, but you can find all of this information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. All you have to do is click on the forecast, and you'll see this exact same graphic right there for you. So you have these safety tips and the warning signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke right there at your fingertips. We'll have another look at your forecast, how hot it's going to be today, and when we might see some relief here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A Kansas man celebrating his golden wedding anniversary decided to gift his wife sunflowers, but not a bouquet's worth, more like acres worth. Abby Ray has a surprising amount of flowers he planted for her.
Sunflowers. As far as the eye can see, one couple's love story leads them to a field of flowers. Lee Wilson decided to farm a different kind of crop than he usually does this season for a very special reason.
So we're celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary, August 10th, and you know, what's a guy get his gal on their 50th? And I put a lot of thought into it, and she always liked sunflowers, and I thought this is the year to plant sunflowers. So we planted her 80 acres of sunflowers.
Just how many sunflowers is that exactly?
There's about 1.2 million flowers in this field.
That's 15,000 flowers per acre. Lee planted the field back in May secretly with the help of his son, so his wife Renee would be surprised.
It made me feel very special, and it couldn't have been a more perfect anniversary gift than a field of sunflowers.
The pair has been together almost their entire lives.
But we met in high school. She couldn't date till she was 16, and I called her on her 16th birthday, and that's when we started dating. And we had our first date was a roller skating party, an FFA roller skating party in Harper, Kansas.
When did you know she was the one?
Probably that day.
The new Pratt sunflower field has drawn in people from all over Kansas to take pictures and experience the state flower in full bloom. Do the Wilsons plan on making this a tradition?
Oh, it's been fun, but I think that one time is enough for us. It's somebody else's turn next year.
The field can be seen 4 miles east of Pratt on the south side of Highway 54.
Sunflower season is short. They'll be picture perfect for only another 10 to 14 days. And Victory Life Church is giving Pittsburgh parents a new option for childcare. Yesterday, they opened a new facility called Sunshine Childcare. It's at 681 Highway 69. Officials say it'll provide an enriching experience for kids.
There's no deadline. It's just we open and then we start filling spots. So yeah, necessarily no deadline. We just know that this is a major need for our community. This is a great facility. It's a great new childcare. In a great location right off the highway, so it's a great piece for our community.
Sunshine Childcare will be hosting an open house on Thursday from 4 p.m. to 7. KCU Joplin welcomed its first class of students for its new College of Dental Medicine. Classes don't start until August, but the students were able to get familiar with the campus and their classrooms. Many areas across the country face a dental shortage. The new students say they're excited to fill that gap.
Pursue, my dream of becoming a provider, but also serving this community in Springfield and, Missouri. So I was definitely very excited whenever they were opening this school, just because I would be allowed to practice and start serving this community.
The student orientation will last for 3 weeks. Compass Academy celebrated the accomplishments of some of its Columbus, Kansas students. The Academy hosted its first ever graduation ceremony for its Columbus CAN Summer Enrichment Program. Officials say the graduation celebrates a significant accomplishment for these students.
I hope that when they leave here, they feel like they have this sense of, I can do whatever I put my mind to doing. So if I want to continue through school and I decide to become an art therapist, that I can figure out how to do that through understanding, that I have to work as a team and that I can be creative, that I can figure out all of these different things, that they can kind of put things in place so they can grow into what they want to become.
The Compass Academy provides hands-on learning for middle schoolers. It started in Joplin, but this year expanded to Columbus. The Junior Dragons Youth League hosted a football camp yesterday. The Junior Dragons had the chance to practice the basics of football with members of the Pittsburgh High School football staff and current Dragon players.
So today we have, starting at grades pre-K through 2nd grade, the high school kids are getting together and helping us with the camp today. A lot of the high school kids actually started in Junior Dragons, so for them to come back and teach our kids, the youngest of them, is really good.
Today is the start of camp for 3rd through 6th graders. There's still time to sign up for the Junior Dragons regular seasons. Games will begin for the league in September. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. With pricey hotel rooms still in high demand, travelers share their tips and tricks on how they save money.
Well, believe it or not, we're actually seeing some showers out there. They will be short-lived, and unfortunately the extreme heat does return. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back.
Morning News, more real news in the morning.
We'll be right back, but first we've got ourselves another look from Riverton, Kansas in honor of National Night Out, and that is happening tonight.
For Watch this morning, traveling is expensive these days as flight and hotel prices have soared. In today's Travel Tuesday, CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from Tannersville, New York on some innovative ways to save on where you rest your head.
Mississippi native Lillian Smith is making her travel dreams come true by making her way around the world, but she's not paying for pricey hotels. The freelance graphic designer is earning her keep as she goes, checking off her house-sitting chore list.
I could be just caring for a house, or I could also be caring for a house and pets and plants, or any variation in between.
Smith often uses an app called Trusted House Sitters and usually finds places she'd like to stay for free.
I've saved over $11,000 in accommodation costs, and that's a very low estimate.
If you're not into working on vacation, some hotels are now offering summer share programs, like here at Hotel Lillian outside New York City in the Catskill Mountains.
We stayed for a special rate at the 18-room Homey Hotel, where you'll find eclectic furnishings and a pool. The summer share program is offered weekdays and weekends, granting perks like early check-in, savings on food and drinks, and unlimited weeknight stays for $99.
We wanted to build more of a community environment. I think what excited us about being 2 hours outside of the city is that we had a chance to see some of the same faces over and over again. The summer share program is really just like that, kind of on steroids.
Many vacation rental homes are also more available and cheaper right now. Additional getaway options as the summer sun starts to set. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Tannersville, New York.
The weekday summer share program at Hotel Lillian costs $500 and the weekend program is $1,000. The Bright X atop the company's San Francisco headquarters has been removed just a few days after it was installed. The logo was part of Elon Musk's rebrand of Twitter. The city says X did not have the proper permits to install the sign, and it received 24 complaints about the X, including about its flashing light and structural integrity. Trader Joe's fully cooked falafel may contain rocks. According to the grocery chain, it's the third recall in a week for the company. 2 kinds of almond cookies were recalled because they also may contain rocks. And last week, it was 11,000 cases of broccoli cheddar soup that was recalled because insects were found in the frozen broccoli florets. And a $1 billion Mega Millions drawing is tonight, less than 2 weeks since someone in California won $1 billion playing Powerball. It's the 4th largest Mega Millions of all time, but only about half the size of a record $2 billion Powerball from last November. About 65 million households nationwide now have a dog, and 46 million have a cat. That's according to the American Pet Products Association, and this rise in pet ownership comes as people are having fewer children. Nancy Chen found out that more businesses are now allowing 4-legged customers.
If you're searching for some bark with your breakfast, look no further than Boris and Horton Cafe in New York. Cuddles come with coffee, and while the humans work, dogs are often having a ball. Copy Holzman and his daughter Logan Mickley opened Boris and Horton 5 years ago.
You were really one of the first of your kind. What was the idea behind it?
We opened it based on a need we have. We thought, wouldn't it be nice if we both could take our dogs, go inside, drink a cup of coffee, have some food, and here we are.
It's not just coffee and food for humans. Dogs can try cookies, cupcakes, donuts, and yes, you read that right, caviar. It's so successful, they recently launched a second location. I brought my pup Harper along for the conversation.
Were you worried it wouldn't work?
I don't think we were ever worried that it wouldn't work. Our first opening weekend, it was like a line around the block.
It's not just in New York. Pet-friendly cafes are popping up all over the U.S.
People think of their pets as children, and people will tell you that they are a member of the family, just as their children are.
Sociologist Kathleen Gerson sees it as a cultural shift. 1 in 3 pet owners now refer to themselves as mom or dad. And Gerson says it's connected to the sharp decline in the U.S. birth rate.
What kind of challenges are young people facing today if they want to start a family?
Time, money, and childcare.
Gerson says because of those obstacles, many millennials are turning to pets like cats and dogs, not just for companionship, but to have something to nurture.
He's me and my wife's first fur baby.
First fur baby,
Yeah.
So you would call him your baby,
Yeah,
your child.
yeah, he's our child.
Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Boris and Horton is approved by the health department. The business says they take all the proper precautions, including keeping food prep and dogs totally separate. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're actually in a few rain showers out there, mainly in southwest Missouri, and that is thanks to a batch of thunderstorms well out to our east that's got some outflow and some development taking place. These will be short-lived across the region, unfortunately, but at least for some of us, we're getting a little bit more of that much-needed rainfall as we are still heading for highs in the lower 100s, and those excessive heat warnings continue today and tomorrow. We're going to take another look at your forecast after the break, and it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. They're coming up as well. But first, see these folks in New York. Look at how busy they are right now. They're moving in slow motion, but they're busy, and they're getting ready for CBS Mornings. So why don't we go find out what's getting ready to happen?
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Grammy Award winner and rapper LL Cool J will be here in studio to talk about his first arena tour in 3 decades and the return of his hip hop festival happening this weekend. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we begin with JJ Best celebrating birthday number 20. Happy birthday, JJ.
And happy birthday to Chris Reynolds, who turns the big 3-0.
And we've got Diana Gale Martin over in Carthage celebrating birthday number 40. Happy birthday, Diana.
And a very happy 97th birthday to Fred Horst. Fred is a World War II Navy vet and Fox 14's general manager's stepdad. He's over in Webb City, Missouri. Happy birthday, Fred.
Happy birthday, Fred. And we've also got Josh York in Weir, Kansas, celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday, Josh.
And over in Columbus, Kansas, happy birthday to Roger Box.
And our list continues with Ross and Annie Westervelt celebrating their 3rd wedding anniversary in Baxter Springs. A very happy anniversary to the Westervelts.
And happy 76th birthday to Archie Wallace over there in Fort Scott, Kansas.
And last but certainly not least, happy 14th birthday to Frank Stroud. This was a very short list, Caitlin.
I agree.
It was
Yes.
extraordinarily short. We want it to be longer. Where do people need to send these so it can be?
Well, submit to birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com for all your birthday and anniversaries. We want to give you a big shout out here.
We certainly do. Make sure you send pictures. We've told you 100 times, we want pictures. We love sharing these pictures, and we want you to send those as well. You know what else we want you to do? We want you to stop by our website and take time to sign up for that, the KOAM Birthday Club. You get great deals from local businesses, and I think more importantly, you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So take time, head over to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for that birthday club today. And with the heat today, it's going to be the perfect excuse to sit there inside in the air conditioning, go to our website, and do this. So get it done. Let's talk about what we've got. The good news is we had some showers pop up. These are kind of nice. They're very sporadic. They're very isolated. They're not very big. They're not dumping a lot of rain. But they are thanks to this complex of thunderstorms out to our east. Now, it'd be great if that complex of thunderstorms was, about 50, 60, 100 miles further west, 120 miles further west. Unfortunately, it's not. But thanks to it, some outflow has triggered these spotty little showers. And you see what I'm talking about? They're not very big. They're about maybe city-sized little showers across the area. They're not dumping a lot of rain, but by golly, they're out there, and at least some of us are getting some rain. However, as that batch continues to move on out to the south and east, the little outflow thunderstorms and showers that we're getting will continue to drag on off with it. So we won't have them for very long, but hey, they're there, and any kind of rain certainly helps because we got this to deal with. These are excessive heat warnings in the magenta color. This is for heat index values 108, possibly up to 115 degrees. So we are talking dangerous heat. Puts us here. Heat exhaustion is likely. Heat stroke is possible. You've got to make sure that you are taking the appropriate precautions out there, like staying hydrated, taking frequent breaks, limiting the strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothes if you do have to be outdoors, and of course, make sure you're checking on the elderly and your pets. Don't leave them outside too long either. It's too hot for anyone or anything. And we've been showing you this, and I'm just going to quickly show it to you and just remind you, there are differences in symptoms to look for with heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And of course, heat stroke, much more serious. You need to call 911. Heat exhaustion, you got to make sure you get this, the person cooled off. And you'll find this graphic on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just click on the forecast and it'll be right there for you. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. Look, bit cloudier out there now because of those showers that are coming off that complex to our east. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. And you can see from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, mostly cloudy skies. Still warm though, 79, feels like 82. Dew point humidity, both of those up there in uncomfortable ranges. Temperatures around the area are pretty mild still. A little cooler up to the north, 75 Fort Scott, Iola, 81 in Chanute, 78 Pittsburgh, Parsons, Independence, Chatopa, 79 Miami, Carthage, Lamar, and 77 in Nevada as we get our day started. As our morning does get started, well, this is what we've got. Partly cloudy skies. Now, with these showers out there, we could see at least a few of us continue with these showers maybe over the next couple of hours, but then they'll start to clear on out, and we're going to get warm fast into the upper 80s, near 90. Now, because of these showers and that cloud cover too, some of us out further west, say Chanute, Independence, Coffeyville, Yates Center, probably going to be a little bit hotter today simply because you're going to get a bit more sunshine than those to your east. We're still looking at highs though, upper 90s, a few more of those lower 100-degree readings across the area, and we could still see a stray pop-up storm or two this afternoon into this evening. Those would be very isolated, but that chance is there. Otherwise, still hot, still partly cloudy, and we go back down into overnight lows into the upper 70s. We'll have another look at your forecast, including that 7-day, plus the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. At about 4:30 p.m., a motorcycle crashed into a pickup truck at East Plaza Drive and South Rangeland. Witnesses say that the motorcycle was traveling at high speeds. The motorcyclist was unresponsive and transported to a nearby hospital. The pickup driver was also transported to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Lamar, Missouri is also cleaning up from Sunday's storms. City officials are working to get debris and damage cleared as well as restore power to residents. One resident who had a tree fall on her house says she's thankful for the hard work by officials to help her. Lamar City officials say they'll continue to clear out all damage and debris throughout the week. And Parsons, Kansas residents today will vote on whether to renew a public safety sales tax. The tax supports funding competitive pay to retain experienced police officers and firefighters and to pay for training. It also helps buy vehicles and other critical equipment. The tax has been in place for more than a decade. If approved, the tax would continue for another 10 years. And portions of an Arkansas law that would make it a crime for bookstores and librarians to provide materials deemed harmful to young readers is temporarily blocked. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed the law earlier this year. The law was scheduled to go into effect today, and the lawsuit was filed by numerous publishing groups, including the Arkansas Library Association. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, quick reminder, excessive heat warnings out there. Heat index values 108 to 115 possible. Partly cloudy skies, highs lower 100s out there, and of course some upper 90s as well. Staying hot through the evening, partly cloudy, a few pop-up storms possible, but those will be very isolated at best. Upper 70s overnight. Triple digits continue into Friday, maybe a couple of pop-up storms tomorrow and Thursday. Then more storms heading into the weekend, and temperatures by next week much more reasonable, back into the lower 90s and upper 80s.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making peachy keen cream pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Would you get a manicure from a robot?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, man, head on CBS Mornings. A look at how artificial intelligence is changing the beauty industry. And of course, your only local morning news at 7 a.m. does not continue today on Fox 14 as we've got the Women's World Cup. So we will see you tomorrow at 7 a.m.-ish, maybe a little bit later than that.
Yes.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you right back here at noon.